Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Now how do I do that? It's pretty simple. Sorry. I try the wines, I review them, and then it's up to you. I review, it's up to you. Remember, it's your palate. Hopefully you're getting used to my palate. Hopefully you understand what I see in wines and you're able to make a determination based on my reviews. And I'll just have to say, and I'm not bragging, although I sort of am bragging, I work in a retail shop, I work in a store, a very busy wine department, and I have to face those customers every day, the ones that I recommend wines to, and there's nothing that hurts my feelings, it bothers me more than anything else, is when a customer comes back and says they didn't like one of the wines I recommended. So I take it very seriously, and it doesn't happen, very rarely does it happen that a customer comes back and doesn't like what I've recommended. Most of them rave about what I recommended because I do try my hardest to understand their palate. I ask a lot of questions. It's very important to me to find the wine that will fit what they are drinking at that time. Now palates change, and you have to ask some questions. Did you like that last wine? What didn't you like about it? Sometimes people go, well, I know why you recommended that wine, Stan, but I didn't like it as much this time. Why didn't you like it? Very important to me. So when I'm reviewing a wine, I'm looking at it from a retail palate standpoint. Christmas is like next week, next Thursday, and I know a lot of you will be consuming a lot of bubbles during these next few weeks. Not only for Christmas, the holidays, but for New Year's. So a few of my programs obviously will be focused on bubbles. And I'm a big bubble head. I love champagne, I love sparkling wine, I love cava, I love prosecco. I like them all. They're great white wines that have sparkle to them. We're going to look at some interesting, these are brand new to me, I've never tried them. They're called Beauvais Signature Wines. I have a Brut, a Rosé, and then I have, from a different producer, Astoria Moscato. Moscato is still all the rage these days, although I think it's on a decline. I haven't read anything about it yet lately, but I think maybe it'll fall back behind Sauvignon Blanc in sales. I hope. Nothing wrong with sweet wines, I love them, but not ahead of Sauvignon Blanc. So a quickie on bubbles. Now you shouldn't call them champagne unless they are from the region of Champagne. Now I do agree with Joe Roberts, One Wine Dude, that maybe it would be a good play for Champagne to let other people call it Champagne, because then it brings more attention to the region. A nice angle on that. But I do understand Champagne too, really trying to guard their area, and really sparkling wine from Champagne is so unique compared to other regions of the world. So I think, honestly, I understand what Joe's saying. I sort of agree what he's saying, but on the other part, I totally am in the ballpark with Champagne on that one. Just like, Napa doesn't want other places calling their cabs Napa Cab. In fact, they got really mad at Fred Franzia for building a facility in Napa, bringing all his grapes from Central California, and putting Napa on the label. So they guard that also very much. So we need to understand where Champagne is coming from on that one. So my good buddy Matthew Denhon from Young's Market put the price right on the front. Easy enough for me to see. This is a Beauvais Brut, Signature Brut, and it's 12.5% alcohol. And let's get a look at the label. There you go. I've never tried this line of sparkling wines before. Notice how I'm calling sparkling wines not champagne, because it's not from Champagne. Little fun fact about Champagne. Do you know the three grapes of Champagne? The three main grapes. Well, the only three grapes used: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. M-U-N-I-E-R. Meunier. Anyway, those are the three grapes. The main grape, of course, is Pinot Noir. They grow a ton of Chardonnay there. They make if it says Blanc de Blanc on the label, it means it's 100% Chardonnay. says Blanc de Noir, you know it's Pinot Noir. Now, if it's a Brut, it can be both Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. But you know, it depends on the winemaker. And so a lot of these sparkling wines from France will use the same exact 3 grapes to develop their wines. What they're missing is that chalky limestone soil of Champagne. That chalky soil of Champagne that gives it its unique characteristics. So, actually I wonder if this tells me the region this is from. I don't see a region on here, but it's Beauvais Brut, Loire Valley. There it is, right on the back. So Loire Valley, France. Let's see what we get on the nose. Now I know a lot of you guys don't spend time sniffing champagne or sparkling wine, but a lot of times what you get on it, since they leave it on the lees or the yeast, the sediment of the yeast, is you get a bread dough or marzipan component out of these wines. Not getting a lot of it on this one, just a hair, a little bit of apple. I'm getting an interesting like tarragon or, well, tarragon coming through. Very interesting. Let's see what it's like on the palate. Big bubbles. I mean, just foamed up in my mouth. By the way, sparkling wine is one of those few wines that you really want to get ice cold. These are not super ice cold, but they're best when they're super cold. Unlike, you know, I know a lot of these wine guys we talked about, these reviewers get on this. Well, I know one in particular got on this really. He'd always rant about people chilling their wines before they sample them on it. And like I've said many times, I like to sample them on the colder, not super cold, but cold, because that's what the consumer's getting. So when I review the wine, those reviews match what they are going to be tasting. Not very many people, if any, drink their white wines at room temperature on a regular basis. I get a lot of apple, a little bit of lemon on this one. It's a Brut, which is drier. So, but it's an interesting, it has a little bit of a touch of sweetness on the back. Not sweet, it is dry, but there's a good fruit. The fruit is fruit forward. I'm getting just a touch of bread dough. There's a component like a toastiness to this sparkling wine that I really like. It's very toasty on the palate. Nice and dry, but it has that good fruit on it. I would say it's a combination of pears and apples with a little bit of touch of marzipan. Nice and dry. It's got good acidity, which I like. I know a lot of you out there like a nice cutting bottle of sparkling wine. The bubbles are a little big, you know, but it's an $18 bottle of bubbles. Bubbles are a little bit big. I'm hoping you put the retail on there. I asked them to. Yeah, it's almost like a toasty pears meets apples. I don't get the tarragon on this, on the finish or on the palate. Good acidity. You know, this isn't the best sparkling wine I've ever had, but I like it. I mean, I do. I'm going to go B- on this wine. I think it deserves a B-. Let's move on to the next one. Now we're getting into rosé. And of course, as well, just so you know, in order to get that color, you know what grape they have to, Pinot Meunier or Pinot Noir, and most times it's Pinot Noir. And they do quite a bit of Pinot Noir in the Loire Valley. So, I'm assuming this is the same price. He didn't write it on here. Beauvais Rosé, excellent, it says, from the Loire Valley. Again, 12.5% alcohol. That's what we love about bubbles. Do you know why? Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you're drinking sparkling wine or champagne or cava, that you get a buzz right away? Well, that's because the carbonation in the sparkling wine gets it into your bloodstream quicker. So that's why sometimes, you know, the first couple of glasses you're like, woo, and then it settles out from there. So that's why the carbonation created by the aging, by the transferring of yeast to alcohol, all of that. Now these are, it doesn't say on these whether it's method champagne, traditional method. It doesn't say any of that on here that I can see, but I'm assuming they do the, excuse me. Again, Loire Valley, I'm not going to take the time to read all that. But no doubt it's done in the method champagne where they, you know, they leave it in the bottle during fermentation. Then they freeze the neck. They do the disgorging where they take the junk out of there. Then they fill it with dosage, and that dosage is a combination of alcohol and sugars that creates a dryness of the sparkling wine. If it says Brut nature or zero Brut, it means they do not put any sugar in that dosage. When they refill it out, it's just straight up alcohol, so they end up being bone dry. So rosé is created by leaving the juice on the Pinot Noir skins to give it that rosé color. And a lot of people either preferred Chardonnay style Bruts, or they prefer Pinot Noir style sparkling wines. Let's see what we get on the nose. Get some strawberries and cherries. I get that toastiness on this one also. There's not super aromatics on this. Remember, I'm doing it out of this tiny little champagne glass, and I like to drink. I really do like to drink out of a champagne glass. It just concentrates the aromatics right through that neck and allows you to, it just tastes better. What am I trying to say? It just tastes better. But you can drink out of it. You can drink out of a mason jar for all I care. It doesn't matter. But, you know, I have a bunch of champagne glasses. Might as well use them. Let's see what we get on the palate. Those bubbles are big. And some people do not like that. That's the difference a lot of times between the more expensive champagnes or cavas or sparkling wine, and the less expensive is the bubbles tend to be smaller. A lot of like wine snobs will not drink anything with big bubbles like this. I don't mind the big bubbles. It's just when you're trying to get the flavor profile in your mouth, sometimes they just go all over the place. I don't like them too big. I don't like to put it in my mouth and just immediately get bubbles. This isn't that bad. It's right in between. And getting a little dried herbs with the cherries. Good acidity on this one. It's nice and mouth-watering acidity. Strawberries come through big time. A little bit of just a touch of bread dough coming through. I like the flavors on this. They're really nice. They're not over the top. They're very focused. This is a very focused bottle of rosé. I'm getting a little bit of that, like right on the back of my lips, that strawberry cherry thing going on. But the flavors are in check. The acidity is good on this. And I really like that dried herbal component. It's a little bit of tarragon rosemary going on back there. I like that a lot. This is I mean, this is a good wine. I'm hoping it's $18 like the other one. I'm sure that's why he didn't write it. I think he told me they were line price, meaning they're the same price. So this is the Beauvais Rosé, Brut Rosé. I'm going to go a step up on this. I'm going to go BB plus on this one. I really like it. I like the Brut, B minus. But this one just has a little bit, it seems to have more acidity. It has a good flavor profile. It's well built. I'm liking it. I'm going to go BB plus on that one. Nice job. $18. If you haven't done rosé sparkling wine, you need to try it because it's excellent, excellent stuff. Now let's move on to the Moscato Lounge, Sparkling Moscato Lounge. And it says $13.99 on it. Let's give it a little rinse. And when you're tasting wines, if you're doing that, not that any of you are going to do this process, but let's say you're having a little fun group gathering, you want to blind taste some wines, it's a good idea to go driest to sweetest, because the dryness, let me see, the dryness does not affect the sweetness as much as the sweetness would affect the dryness. So let's get a look at this label. Moscato, about 3 years ago, I believe, overtook Sauvignon Blanc in sales in the United States, which I found crazy. So it goes like this. It goes Chardonnay in whites, Pinot Gris, Grigio, Moscato, Sauvignon Blanc, and just crazy. But, you know, some rappers and rock artists, you know, guys in the music business started rapping about Moscato, and so people had to try it. Nothing wrong with that. Great starting wine and great dessert wine, or great just to enjoy with company. Have no problem with that. I just, you know, Sauvignon Blanc is such an awesome wine, and I just hate to see a sweet wine overtake it. That's all. Just a personal thing, really. I don't care. So, a lot of tangerine and orange peel notes on this. A little bit of vanilla. So it's like vanilla, tangerine, orange peel. A little candy-esque on the nose. I mean, not total candy, but it's going there. So nice nose. You would expect that from a Moscato. Sparkling Moscato, no less. Let's see what we get on the palate. I have a hard time with sweet wines grading them because, you know, if they're sweet, they're good, right? If you have a sweet tooth, it's like laying out a bunch of jelly beans and going, well, let's see which one is better than the other one. Well, I guess it's a flavor profile if you don't like them. But most of us with a sweet tooth, you know, we'll take a Snicker bar, we'll take a Milky Way, we'll take a Twix, you know, right? You don't really grade them, they're good. So this is a really nice sparkling Moscato. I like it a lot. Nice creaminess on the palate. I'm getting tangerine sorbet, orange sorbet. Interesting. This would really be good with like a bread pudding. I don't know if you've had bread pudding. I love bread pudding. This would be good with apple pie. This would actually be good with Asian food because of the sweetness. It would be awesome with Asian food. I really like the flavor profile on this. I like the creaminess and the sorbets that come through tangerine, lime, orange. It stays more towards the orange side, obviously. A little bit of mango coming through. I really like that. It's really good. It's really good. I'm going to go B plus on that one. I like it. It's well made. I mean, you know, a lot of them are jumping on the sparkling wine. I like the package. If you want to just take another look at the package. Here you go. Kind of a cool package. $14. Good quality Moscato, sparkling Moscato. I don't think it's over the top sweet. I think it has a nice balance to it. I think it's a really great bottle of wine. It would go with a lot of different things. I would do that with chocolate cake any day. You got to be careful not to go too sweet on this one because it's not super sweet. So whatever you're having, make sure it's not like over the top sweet. Be awesome with Asian food, anything a little spicy, this would be perfect. I have a lot of people say, what would go with Mexican food? I would have that with a taco any day of the week. I think it's a great bottle of wine, going B+. So there you go. You got 3 sparklers, all under $20. So if you need one for the holidays, look these up. I'm getting ready to post. I was going to link it up yesterday. I forgot to do that. Sorry about that. I don't know if you know, I'm coming up with a little banner on the bottom. I'm working, trying to figure out YouTube. Not a super techie guy, but I can figure things out. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to come up with an intro for my YouTube videos starting in 2015, so be patient. I really, really, really deeply appreciate my supporters. Shout out to Linda Kasner for subscribing. Please subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to find one I can put up here, somewhere up here, a subscribe button. I'm trying to figure that out right now. Haven't quite gotten there yet, even though the tutorials make it look so easy. It's like, I'm trying. I'm a solo guy. I'm doing it all on my own. I really, really appreciate you watching. Make comments. Thank you, Matthew, for making a comment the other day about the reviews. I appreciate, excuse me, bubbles. I really appreciate it. And please, if you're watching, make a comment. I know, Mike, you told me it's hard to make a comment. I'm not sure how to get around that. Some other people have done it. Try and figure it out. What is your favorite sparkling wine for the holidays? Do you have a favorite? Let me know. And remember, wine is not mysterious. It's just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Understand your palate. Be true to it. Don't let anybody else tell you what is right or wrong to drink. And together, you and I, can take the snob out of wine.